Hi, I'm Samantha Anderson, Director of Communications for Newton Public Schools, and I'm here with Superintendent Dr. Deb Ham. And we're here to give you another update on our Community Vision Team and Board of Education team meetings. We had some big news in both meetings, so we just wanted to make sure that you guys were informed. As always, feel free to leave any questions you may have in the comments section, and we'll get to them as soon as possible. But we'll get to it. We're going to try to keep it quick and get you as much information as short of time as possible. So, Dr. Ham, what did the Board of Education decide in its special meeting last night?
Well, the big news coming out of that meeting was that the board voted in a 6-1 vote to have a second question on a potential bond that will build a new school south of Highway 50 somewhere. Location to be determined at another date. So it will be something that will be exciting and also a little bit heartbreaking for some people because it is a way to respond to some needs within our district that are quite evident and have come to pass. So the board looked at, before making a decision, looked at 5 different options. They also had the opportunity to come up with additional options if they had wanted to do that. And so as they considered each one, the board was very open in how they processed that information and asked each other great questions. So it's pretty exciting. I think the reasons that ultimately the board decided to do what it did is really taking responsibility, looking forward, being future thinking about what's in the best interest of the district for the next 15 to 20 years or beyond.
So the decision was to close Walton and then build the school south of town. So.
Well, it wouldn't happen exactly in that order because the school would have to be built before that would happen. And before that could happen, of course, the community will need to weigh in on that. So Walton will stay Walton. And when the new school is built, the program, everything Walton, will be moved from its current location, staff, students, projects, the livestock, all of the things that have been a part of that charter and so much love and attention that's been put into it will carry on.
So the program in a newer building, kind of built for today.
Absolutely, and built for their program. So it will be the teachers and administrators will work with our architects to design a building that will really enhance their program and provide the kind of space that project-based learning will really flourish in.
So in this, now when voters go to vote, whenever we have our bond election, this will be the second question, right?
Correct.
So how will that work? Can you explain that?
Well, the best way to explain that will be that the first question is the CVTs and the board's priority. And that came out of, again, a lengthy conversation with community members and board members, where they decided that the high school, safety and security, deferred maintenance, and overcrowding at the middle school, couldn't think of the fourth one, were all ones that had to do with buildings. Now, actually, number 4 in that list was keeping the cost of the bond down. So that really was a priority for the CVT and the board as they worked through what were the needs. And as they also processed, so what are the needs for deferred maintenance and safety and security at the elementary level, and with information about the condition of the school and at Walton and the inequitability between the Walton building and buildings. And again, this ties all back to board goals. It became apparent there needed to be another question. So that's the action that the board took. And then go back to the first question, which were all those really important things that were decided on first. How this will work will be the bond language will be written in such a way and promoted in the community in such a way that if the first bond does not pass, but the second one does, the board will not move forward with the second one, because the priorities really are, we have a need, we have more needs than we can deal with, but they're their priority was really on the high school, middle school overcrowding, safety and security, and deferred maintenance as far as it related to the buildings.
And then I heard some questions that I just wanted to answer from last night. Some people were just wondering what will happen to Walton in the meantime. We're still far away from a vote right now. So what will we do there to make sure that the students get the best education possible?
Right. Not only are we far away from a vote right now, but it will take time. Even when it passes, it will take a long time. So looking forward, right now, what we're going to do is expend capital outlay money to make the repairs necessary that we need to make. We'll be looking at how can we divert water so that we're lessening the chance of pooling underneath the modular classrooms and also in other areas on the playground. So we'll be looking at doing those things and maintaining the building for the next however long it takes.
Okay. And then moving on to the Community Vision Team or CVT meeting, can you just talk about how that started out and what priorities they set?
Well, I kind of went through the priorities already: the high school, deferred maintenance, safety and security, and middle school overcrowding. So they took each one of those items and then processed through what were the projects that they wanted to take in place. Last night was about coming to consensus on those. So they've had multiple projects. They've worked in small groups. So last night, the group decided on a consensus model that 60% of the team, which would have included board members and community members, had to vote to move a project forward. So that was the biggest part of the CVT meeting last night.
So what areas or what pieces did they decide to move forward?
The original footprint of the high school will be renovated and remodeled. That is the biggest part of the entire package. And that will include rearranging space in the high school, hopefully creating some new space, some better space for teachers to work in. Again, all of those things have to be designed, and that will come later. But we're really excited about the potential for the high school. So that was one aspect. They also moved forward a new science wing. So that will help us phase in the project where we can move students into that section of the high school while we are remodeling and renovating other areas. For the middle schools, looking at adding space to Chisholm and also looking at deferred maintenance in both Chisholm and Santa Fe. So both of the middle school areas will be touched, or middle level schools will be touched. They also talked about and moved forward elementary deferred maintenance. Mostly that centers around HVAC. In '97, when all of the elementary schools were remodeled and air conditioned for the first time, all of those units are aging at the same rate. So the idea here is that we'll take units that are 18 years or older, and those will be the ones that will be replaced with bond money. Everything else will be put on a rotation, and capital outlay money will be used to make those replacements. So that will put us in a better position moving forward, that not all of our units are failing at the same time, so that we don't have to replace them all at the same time. In addition to that, looked at safety and security at the elementary schools. So mostly looking at controlled access, so that there's a way to control who gets into the building during the school day, and also improving security cameras so that we have a better look at the interior and the exterior of our buildings. So those were kind of the big issues. Another really big issue that I think team members really struggled with but did move forward was the idea of a gym as a storm shelter. It really will help the physical education classes be able to utilize that space in a much better way and be more effective for our students during the school day. And in addition to that, we will also have the opportunity then athletically to run some much larger competitions. The two gyms will sit side by side, and so that will also allow for better security, for supervision of our spectators and others that would be there. In addition, we're looking forward to being able to finally resolve some of the issues from the 2007 bond that people were unhappy with. So the lack of restroom space, concession stand too far away from the sports area. So we're really looking forward to being able to do that. And it is the most economical way to provide the storm shelter for our students and deal with a secondary problem.
And then they will also do some safety and security with Chisholm and Santa Fe as well. Is that
Yes,
right?
yes, that is true. And same kind of things. It'll be controlled access in the buildings and more security cameras so that we can have the interior and the exterior of our buildings taken care of.
All right. Well, what's the next step? Where are we at?
Well, our next step is we'll be working with our architect and construction management at risk firm, as well as George K. Baum, who is our bond company, and they will work with us on the bond language. So writing that up so that it is broad enough that the plans can still be tweaked a bit, but also specific enough that we can accomplish what we're saying we're going to accomplish.
And that meeting is next Tuesday, November
Right.
6th at 7:30, and people are welcome to come in and see the process at work and attend and watch. Is that right?
Right, absolutely. So 7:30, I know it's election night, but the polls will be closed at that point. So come on down to McKinley and watch another process in place.
You can make a night of it. You can
You
go
can.
vote and then go watch another
Absolutely.
process. And then real quick before we go, I just wanted to give everybody a reminder. They may hear a lot about a bond cap, coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Right.
Can you just explain that situation?
I'll try in short words and in a short amount of time. Basically, right now we have $38 million that is still on the table for this fiscal year. That is not enough for us to move forward with a bond election this spring because there's not enough dollars there to cover what we need to have covered. So there are I believe it is four districts that have elections on election night. And if those fail, then those dollars become available for other school districts. So it would be added into the $38 million. And that might allow for there to be enough money available for Newton to move forward. If they all pass, and I'm sure that those communities are hoping that they do, if those all pass, then we will wait until July, and we will be working all of that time on making sure that we're communicating with the public and getting our information out. And then we'll apply in July. And we don't know what the cap is for the next fiscal year or what other school districts will apply, but it's a first come, first serve. So if we're not ready in July and we postpone it, it's likely that we would not be able to move forward with anything next year either. So it's really a kind of a waiting game and a hoping game.
All right. Well, thank you so much for explaining that. And again, the next meeting is November 6th at 7:30. At McKinley. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day.